Welcome to Point channel. So today I will discuss about Spring Boot scheduling tasks. Okay, I'm going to cover all these concepts. So why we need to schedule a task. Okay, and what are the real-time scenarios to schedule a task. Okay, and basically how to schedule a task in Spring Boot. Okay, how many ways we can schedule a task. Okay, how to enable the scheduler threads more than one, and okay, and how to customize your own thread pool task scheduler, and what happens if you use both at the rate scheduled and at the rate async together. Okay, so I'm going to cover all these concepts. Okay, yeah. So the first one, so why we need to schedule a task. Okay, so sometimes in your real time, okay, you may get a requirement to execute a piece of logic or piece of code at some regular intervals, let's assume every 5 minutes. Okay, or sometimes you may get a requirement to execute a piece of code with a fixed delay. Okay, fixed delay in the sense, okay, so it will maintain a fixed delay between your previous execution and the next execution, something like that. Okay, and sometimes you may need to execute your business logic with the help of some cron job expression. So that means, for example, every day morning, some 10 o'clock, you want to run your scheduled job or something like that. Okay, so like that, you may have different types of requirements in your real time. So then you need to think about this scheduling task in Spring Boot. Okay, so real time scenarios in the sense, okay, so one scenario we can say, so whenever we are using the AWS SQS, that is simple queue service. Okay, so we used to drop the messages, some hundreds and thousands of messages continuously into that particular queue, and at the other side, okay, we used to poll those messages, okay, continuously, and we will do some processing with the help of that particular messages. So at that particular time, obviously we need to poll those messages continuously, right? So then we need to take the help of this at the rate scheduled uh, task execution, okay, in Spring Boot. Okay, so basically how to enable scheduling. See, by default in Spring Boot, we cannot enable the scheduling by default. So we need to enable it by adding the annotation at the rate enable scheduling, okay, to any one of your configuration class, or if not, at least you can add to your main class in which you have at the rate Spring Boot application. Okay, so as a next step, you need to add at the rate scheduled annotation, okay, to a method for which you want to execute, periodically. Okay, so you can have more than one method also. Okay, you can have some four methods which are annotated with at the rate scheduled. So in that case, four methods will run periodically as per your configuration. Okay, so as soon as you add at the rate enable scheduling, what happens, it will internally scans all your packages, and it will try to detect methods which are annotated with at the rate scheduled, and it will try to run those piece of code at regular intervals as per your configuration. Okay, so the key points to remember, the methods which are annotated with at the rate scheduled need to follow two conditions. The first one is this method should not accept any input parameter. Okay, so this is the first condition. And second condition, it should not return anything. Basically, it should return void. So these are the two conditions. Even though if you try to return something, it will ignore. Okay. Okay. So so thread pool for scheduling jobs. Okay, so by default, internally, Spring Boot will maintain a kind of thread pool, okay, which is having a size of one. Okay, there will be only one and only single thread which will be responsible to execute your all your scheduled jobs, okay, or scheduled tasks. Okay, so now if you see here, so now there are two ways to increase the thread count. Okay, now for example, I'm not happy with the one and only thread. I want to increase the thread count to two or three or four based on our requirement. So then there are two ways. The first way is you can have either spring.task.scheduling.pool.size in your application.properties to two, or 3 or 4 or whatever. Okay, and the second way is you can define your own thread pool task scheduler. Okay, so then so something like this, I mean, you need to define your own thread pool task scheduler. Here you can specify the pool size as per your requirement. Okay, and you can give your pool name. Okay, some task scheduler or whatever, so that you can identify your pool execution in your logs. Okay, with this particular name. Okay, so yeah, schedule a job with a fixed delay. Basically there are three ways to schedule a particular task. Okay, the first one is a fixed delay, second one is a fixed rate, third one is a cron job. Okay, the first one is fixed delay. So so sorry, if you, for example, if you want to run your scheduled job, okay, okay, continuously, just by keeping a 5 seconds of delay between each iteration, let's assume. Okay, so then in that case, what happens? Your scheduled job runs in a sequential way. Okay, so here, okay, I will show you in the code also how it happens. Okay, so for example, if you see here, okay, sometime before I have created a demo project. Okay, so here if you see, here nothing fancy. I mean, we don't have a controller, nothing. Okay, so I have some configuration. I will explain shortly. Okay, yeah, I have some two entities, employee and donor. Okay, and some exception handling. That's it, nothing fancy. And these are the two model classes for those entities. Okay, you know, yeah, I have one scheduled task demo. Okay, I just created one separate class in which I maintained my scheduled task. Okay, so yeah, so here I do have service class, but here no need to bother. Okay, what's happening within the service class? Okay, here it is not required for our demonstration, so I just maintained those classes. Okay, here you can see this is the main class. Okay, in which we have at the rate Spring Boot application. So that's it. So this is a just a high level code walkthrough. So now let's see. So as I explained, the first step is to add at the rate enable scheduling. So I'm just adding over here at the rate enable scheduling. Okay, so now, okay, so here if you see scheduled talks demo. Okay, so this one I annotated at the rate component at the rate all logs constructor. Okay, to have auto void this employee repository and donor repository. Okay, so now here if you see I have two scheduled tasks. So for simplicity, first we will discuss only one particular scheduled task. Okay, so here if you see what I'm doing. Okay, so I have one method in which I'm trying to save employee entity into the database. Okay, here I'm just maintaining a thread sleep of 7 seconds so that I can mimic the scenario in which this particular thread has taken 7 seconds of execution. Okay, so that's why I'm sleeping this particular thread for 7 seconds. Okay, so now here if you see I'm just printing two logger statements at the end starting and at the ending. Okay, so far we are good. Okay, we have one single single method which is annotated with at the rate scheduled with the fixed delay is equal to 5 seconds. So what does it mean? Ideally it should execute this piece of code. Okay, during the execution it will sleep for 7 seconds, and after that again it will take a delay of 5 seconds. Again it will start the second iteration. So let's see whether it is happening or not. Okay, so now I'm just starting the server. Okay, so yeah, so as I said, okay, so internally Spring Boot has one and only thread, okay, which is responsible to run all your scheduled tasks. So now in our scenario we have one single scheduled task, and in the background there is only one and only scheduled thread. Okay, so now here if you see, yeah, so here if you see, employee creation started at scheduling one. Okay, scheduling one in the sense this is a default thread. As I said, the single thread. That name Spring Boot has considered scheduling one. Okay, here if you see, what time here 07460, right? Okay, see the second 07460. So after 7 seconds, that means somewhere around 14. Yeah, see here 14. After 14 seconds, we can see employee creation ended at the same thread. Okay. Now it will take a pause of 5 seconds. So after 14 lessons, 19. So exactly after 5 seconds, that means 19th second again it has started a second iteration. The same thread. Employee creation started at scheduling one, right? So yeah, so it is working fine as expected, right? So now we will do a different experiments. Okay, so what we will do now, we will enable the second thread also. Okay, sorry, second scheduled task. Okay, so here you see second scheduled task. Okay, for example, here also I will keep the same configuration. Okay, so 5000. Okay, um yeah, 5000 L. Yeah, okay. So here also same thing. Here I'm trying to create the donor entity. That's it. Similar to employee entity. Here also my thread is sleeping 7 seconds. Okay. So now let's try to run this. Sorry. So now I'm trying to run the two scheduled. We can say jobs. Two scheduled jobs here. This is the first one. Okay. This is the first one, and this is the second one. Okay, how many threads are there in the background? There is only one and only scheduled thread, right? So now one scheduled thread is responsible for executing two scheduled jobs, right? So in that case, what happens? Let's see. So here, if you see, okay, so initially it has created a donor creation started at scheduling one. So obviously there is only one single thread. Scheduling one here, if you see, 10 4 32. Okay, obviously, so here if you see 10 4 32. Okay, it has inserted this one after 7 seconds. Okay, so here if you see, um, oh sorry, okay, there is something went wrong. Okay, sleep interrupted. Unexpected error occurred in scheduling task. Okay, um, drop table if exists. Okay, okay, 1 second. Yeah, yeah. So sorry. I have added the Spring Boot dev tools in the background, so that's why it's continuously, take our code changes and try to start the server continuously. So now we need to take the latest iteration. Okay, so here if you see, this is the latest iteration. Okay, so here in this iteration you see donor creation started at scheduling one. So here if you see 28 187, right? So obviously after 7 seconds, so that means after 35 seconds, okay, I mean 35th second, donor creation ended. Okay, now if you see the same thread scheduling one, same thread, what happens? It has started the second second scheduled job, that is employee entity creation. Okay, so when it has started immediately after, I mean 35th second only, now it will execute that employee creation for 7 seconds. That means 42th second. Okay, that particular job also finished. Employee creation ended at scheduling one. Now the same thread, now again it is switched to the what you say, donor creation job. Okay, donor creation job immediately at 42. So like this, okay, again it will take 7 seconds, 49th second, again 49th second, again it is switched to the second job for employee job, again after it will take 7 seconds. So like this, right? So I'm stopping this one. Okay, so then, okay, since we have one and only thread, so that thread, what's happening? It is executing this piece of code. Okay, then immediately it is switching to this second scheduled job. Again, it is sleeping for 7 seconds. Okay, and after that, again, it is switching to this particular scheduled job, something like that, right? So then there is one question. Okay, is it really considering this fixed delay? Why? Because as soon as it executes the first scheduled job, immediately it is starting the second scheduled job, right? Then is it really considering this delay or not? Okay, so the answer for that question here is, okay, so here if you see, okay, let's assume the same thread has started, okay, and it has taken 7 seconds, okay, and immediately, okay, it is starting this particular thread, okay, and it is also here also it is taking 7 seconds, right? Now when it is switching to this particular job once again, okay, here it needs to maintain this delay, right? 5 seconds. Now why it is not maintaining this delay? Why it is immediately starting this particular job execution, right, after this execution? So the answer for that question is, okay, see here, this particular job has already taken 7 seconds, right? So now, now this particular thread, okay, has already taken 7 seconds. So by the time this delay 5 seconds are already expired, right? So that's why it is starting this particular job execution immediately, right? So now to prove that point, what I will do, okay, I will say 10 seconds here, okay, 10 seconds delay, okay. So now what I will do, 10 seconds, okay. Now let me start once again. So this time what happens, okay, uh, it will execute this piece of code for 7 seconds. Now it will take 3 seconds of pause. Why? Because 7 plus 3 seconds. So by that way, it will finish 10 seconds of delay, you know. So, so delay in the sense what? So the the previous job execution of this one to the gap between the previous job execution and the the immediate subsequent job execution, this particular job execution, that gap should be 10 seconds, okay. So it doesn't bother, okay, whether it will execute other jobs or not, okay. It will see this 10 seconds between the same job, the previous execution to the subsequent execution. So that gap should be 10 seconds, okay. So let's see here. So here if you see, now it started. Okay, so employee creation started it here. You see, 35,894. Okay, so now, okay, 7 seconds gap, 43. Okay, immediately it has started the donor. Okay, 43. Okay, that is fine. Why? Because there is a single thread. Again, it has taken 7 seconds, 50th. Okay, now CC immediately it has not started the employee, right? So, like similar to our previous scenario. So now it has taken 53rd second. So why? Because okay, here 10 seconds delay is there, right? So if you see the previous the previous job execution, when it has ended, employee creation ended at scheduling 1, when it has ended 43 to 45. So from 43 to 45, it should maintain the gap of 10 seconds. So that means exactly after 10 seconds, that is 53 to 51, then again it has started employee creation, started at scheduling 1, right? So in our previous case, we have only 5 seconds, which is less than the other jobs execution. So that's why it is starting immediately, right? I hope you guys understand. So this point, okay. So yeah, so far we are good, okay. So now, I don't need this second job, okay. um okay, so 1 second, yeah. So let me explain one more scenario, okay. So for example, there is only one thread, it is switching here, and again the same thread is switching here, right? The second job execution here also. So can't we have two scheduled threads, okay, which we the first, so that the first scheduled thread will take care of the first job, and second scheduled thread will take care of second job. Okay, can we have something like that? Okay, yes, we can have. Okay, to mimic such kind of scenario, there are two ways, okay. The first way is here, you can see, you can have this property, okay, spring dot schedule pool size, you can maintain 2, okay. So 2, if you maintain 2, okay, and if you run the same scenario once again, okay. So here if you see, so I'm not sure what I commented. I no, same scenario, I didn't change anything, okay. So yeah, yeah. So here if you see the same scenario now, okay. So yeah, let it take. So yeah, here if you see, now there are two threads, right? So two threads have started immediately parallelly. Here you can see scheduling 1 and scheduling 2. Employee creation started, donor creation also started. When it has started, 33 second, okay, 33, right? So now what happens after 7 seconds? Both will be ended, right? So that means see here, 40th second employee creation also ended, and at the same 40th second, the second line, the same 40th second donor creation also ended. Okay. Now if you see, they both have maintained happily, see, donor creation for 5 seconds, right? See donor creation. Why? Because here if you see, donor creation here, if you see donor creation, this particular job has a fixed delay of 5 seconds, right? So that's why here you see, there is a gap of 5 seconds, 40 and 45. But here if you see this employee job creation, this particular scheduled job has a delay of 10 seconds. So now if you see, somewhere it should take a 50th second. So here if you see, Yeah, see here you can see 50th second. Okay, this job will be ended. So employee, sorry, ended. Oh, sorry, ended in the sense. Okay, it has taken that particular delay of 10 seconds, and again it has started. Okay, employee creation started at scheduling one. Okay, so this is the benefit of having two scheduled threads. So two scheduled threads. Okay. So I mean to say those two threads will take care of your two scheduled jobs. So each scheduled thread will take care of your scheduled job. Okay, each scheduled job, so that they both run parallelly. So in a previous case, since we have one and only thread, so that thread only need to execute this piece of code, and again after that it needs to switch this piece of code execution, right? So this is this one. Okay, so now there is one more way. Okay, that way is I'm just commenting this one. Okay, so I'm just commenting this particular piece of main line. Okay, there is one more way. Just go to configuration here. I'm just uncommenting this piece of code. So here, if you see thread pool task scheduler, like this also you can define your own task scheduler. Here also I just defined the pool size of 2, and here I given my own name as a task scheduler hyphen or something like that. Okay, so now what happens if I run the same job once again? Now this time you can see the thread name as task scheduler hyphen one, task scheduler hyphen two, or something like that. Why? Because it started considering this particular pool thread pool task scheduler. Okay, so let's see the same thing here. Yeah. So yeah, it's already started. Sorry. So here you can see donor creation started. Here you can see, as I said just now, task scheduler one. This is one, task scheduler two. Okay. So here you can see 54, 54. Okay, 54, 54. Obviously, after 7 seconds, it will finish its execution. So the 54 plus 7. So that is you know um, sorry. Uh, so sorry, we need to see this seconds, right? So 23, 23. So 23 plus 7, 30, 30, of course, by taking this milliseconds into consideration, 31. Okay, so both are ended at 31. Okay, so and after that, as I said, so donor thread has a fixed delay, so that means 31 plus 5, 36. Okay, of course, employee the job related thread has a fixed delay of 10 seconds, so somewhere at 41. Yeah, see, after 41, I mean 41st second again it will start it. Okay, so now if you see task scheduler one. Okay, yeah, we are good. Okay, let me stop. So now I have covered this fixed delay scenario. Now I will switch to fixed rate. Okay, so now in the fixed rate, what happens? Okay, so here if you see, okay, now I'm changing to fixed rate. Okay, so fixed rate. Okay, so fixed rate I'm changing to 5,000. Okay, so okay, so I'm just commenting this one, so that I mean I will focus only one single scheduled job. Okay, one single scheduled job. Okay, and let me keep you know my pool size is also one. Okay, pool size is also one. Okay, so now if you see, um, we have one single thread, one single job. Okay, now we are about to discuss about fixed rate. So here let's keep 2 seconds, 2 seconds of delay and a fixed rate of 5 seconds. Okay, now let me run. So what does it mean? Okay, so it will run this piece of code internally. It will sleep 2 seconds. Okay, and after 3 seconds, again it will kick off this particular piece. I mean um, code execution once again. Okay, why? Because here fixed rate in the sense. Okay, so every 5 seconds it is supposed to execute this piece of code. So that's the meaning of fixed rate. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so here if you see employee creation started, task scheduler one. Okay, cool, it started. Okay, 7:40, 7th second it started. Obviously I'm sleeping only 2 seconds thread, right? Here you can see 2 seconds means by taking milliseconds into consideration, 10. Okay, so 10 after 2 seconds employee creation ended. Okay, so then uh, okay, you know every 5 seconds, right? So when it has started, 7th second it started. After 5 seconds, it is supposed to run, right? Once again. So that's the meaning of fixed rate is equal to 5 seconds, right? So, so after 7 plus 5, 50, 12th second, see here, 12th second again it has started. Employee, so 12th second started, after 2 seconds, 14th second again it has ended. Okay. Now 12, so when it has started, 12th, right? So 12 plus 5, 17th second again it has started, right? So far we are good. Okay, now it is working fine as expected. Okay, now let's see one more scenario. Okay, now this time what I will do, okay, I will change 2 to 7 seconds. Okay, so this time what happens? Okay, let's run once again. So this time, see, our scheduled job itself will take 7 seconds of execution, whereas it is supposed to run this piece of code every 5 seconds. How come? Is it possible? See, the same scheduled thread is already engaged here, right? That has already slept for 7 seconds. So how come it will kick off the same, second iteration after 5 seconds, right? It has already engaged over here during this execution, right? So now here, if you see, employee creation started here. Employee creation started. Task scheduler one. If you see the seconds, 44 second 374. Okay, so it has slept 7 seconds. So 44 plus 7, 51. Okay. Now immediately, immediately it has started. Second iteration. Employee creation started at task scheduler one. Okay, so it is supposed to start 44 plus 5, 49th second, the second iteration, right? But whereas it is starting the second iteration, okay, after finishing the previous iteration. So previous iteration was finished at somewhere around 51. Okay, then immediately it is starting the second iteration. But it is behaving similar to fixed delay, right? But here I have added fixed rate, right? So the reason for that question is, okay, here you have one and only scheduled thread, okay, which is a default one, or okay, or now I'm maintaining here. If you see, um, task scheduler, there is only one single thread, right? So that single thread only, responsible for your job execution. So it has already slept here 7 seconds. So how come that thread will kick off that second iteration? Right, it's not possible, right? So that's why it is finishing this entire job fully, and again it is starting that one, right? So okay, then how come how come I can fulfill the actual meaning of fixed rate is equal to 5000 seconds? Okay, so my requirement is, okay, uh, every 5 seconds it should kick off this particular job irrespective of the previous job execution, whether it was finished or not, I don't bother. Okay, okay, it should trigger this particular job every 5 seconds. Okay, whether this particular job will take 10 seconds or 15 seconds, I don't bother. So then how to achieve that particular type of requirement? Okay, so for that what we need to do, okay, um, so we need to take the help of at the rate async over here. Okay, so in order to enable at the rate async, as I explained in my previous video, okay, we need to do two things. Okay, here, just come here. Okay, we need to add at the rate enable async. Okay, here we need to annotate this one, and similarly come here. Okay, and you need to annotate one more annotation at the rate async. Okay, at the rate async. Okay, so now so here, okay, for async, in the sense, what does it mean? Okay, so scheduler jobs responsibilities is to kick off this particular job execution every 5 seconds, right? Now as soon as it kick off, okay, immediately async will come into picture, and this internal code execution, okay, will be done in a new asynchronous thread, not in this scheduled thread. Okay, so that asynchronous thread will be engaged in executing this particular highlighted code that may take 7 seconds or 10 seconds or whatever it may be. Now your scheduled thread is free, right? Immediately it can kick off one more after 5 seconds, again it will kick off this particular method. Okay, so second time also, your asynchronous thread will come into picture, and again second iteration related internal code execution will be done in one more asynchronous thread, you know so like that, there are two separate threads are there: your scheduler thread and your asynchronous thread. Your scheduler thread job is to kick off your job, okay, at regular intervals every 5 seconds, and as soon as it kicks off, okay, internally immediately your asynchronous thread will come into picture, and it will start executing your this highlighted piece of code, okay, in one more separate asynchronous thread. So by that way your scheduler thread has become free, and it has not engaged in executing this piece of code, okay. So that's why it has got opportunity to kick off every 5 seconds, right? So in our previous case, the scheduler job itself needs to kick off, and that scheduler thread itself needs to execute the same piece of code. Okay. So that's why, since it has got engaged over here during this execution, it has slept 7 seconds. So that's why it didn't get opportunity to kick off that second iteration after 5 seconds. So that's the difference. Okay. So now here if you see, okay, now let me uncomment this one also, okay, just for better practice, okay. So why I have uncommented here, if you see, I am maintaining a core pool size of 2, okay, maximum of 10, and I have given a name of async, okay. So this is task executor, okay. Suppose if I don't maintain this type of pool, what happens? As I already explained in my previous video, so whenever you add at the rate async, every time whenever a scheduler jobs kicks off each iteration, right? So then it will initiate a new asynchronous thread, brand new asynchronous thread, okay, which is not recommended. So that's why, to avoid that scenario, okay. So now I am maintaining a pool size of only 2. So that means these two asynchronous threads only will take care of all iterations, okay. So now now see, we have a at the rate async, okay. So since I have maintained the the name of the bean name as task executor, so I no need to pass that pool name over here in the brackets at the rate async. So that's the thing, okay. Now let me run once again. So okay, so I guess better to stop. So so as I explained, now it should fulfill the actual meaning of fixed rate, okay. So every 5 seconds it should kick off this particular job, okay. So let's see whether it initiates in that way or not, okay. So here if you see somewhere here, employee creation started at async 1, okay. Employee creation started at async 1. As I said, asynchronous, I'm maintaining two asynchronous thread, right? Async 1, okay. So when it has see ninth second 800 millionth second, okay. So after 7 seconds, okay, it will sleep 7 seconds. So 9, here you see 9 plus 7, 16th second that your scheduled job will be ended. But here you see, this is the important interesting point, okay. 9 plus 5, 14th second, it has started the second iteration. That means your previous iteration is still in progress, but however, as per our actual requirement, fixed rate is equal to 5 seconds. Immediately after 5 seconds, it has kick off the second iteration also. See, 14th second, see here, employee creation started, right? So first iteration, when it will finish, 9 plus 7, somewhere around 16th, yeah, see, milliseconds consideration, 17th second, the the first iteration has already finished, employee creation ended, okay. So now if you see here, second iteration started at 14th, and third iteration immediately started 14 plus 5, okay. See somewhere here, 19th second, third iteration also started, okay. So now second iteration, when it will finish, okay, 14 plus 7, somewhere around 21st second, see 21st second, second iteration will be ended, right? So third iteration, when it will finish, see, third iteration started it at the 19th, so 19 plus 7, somewhere around 26, uh, sorry, 19 plus 7, okay, 19 plus 7, okay, uh, yeah, 19 plus 7, 26, okay. So here you see, this is the fourth iteration started, so somewhere around 26, yeah, see, 26, as I said, third iteration also ended. So now it is working fine as expected. So I mean, now it is fulfilling the actual meaning of a fixed rate. So now as per the the actual attribute, fixed rate is equal to 5 seconds, mean the sense every 5 seconds it is kicking off this particular job execution, okay. So now this is possible with the help of at the rate async, as I explained. Every time scheduler thread okay, will kick off this particular job, and immediately this piece, this code will be executed, okay, in a new asynchronous thread. Okay, so by that way your scheduler thread has become free, and again it will ready to kick off the second execution, right? So yeah, so this is the second way of a fixed rate. Okay, and the third way is, cron job expression. So cron job expression in the sense, okay, here you can say cron equal to at the rate hourly in the sense, okay, here you can say, your job will be executed every 1 hour, okay, or you can give cron job expression, so that, for example, if your job needs to be executed every day morning 9 a.m., okay, then accordingly you need to give your own cron job expression, so then it will take care of your job execution accordingly. Okay, now let's come back to your or PPT. So here if you see the first scenario, schedule a job with fixed delay. So whatever scenarios I just covered, I already wrote over here. You can go through this one. So okay, so here you can pause the video and you can go through these statements. Okay, just to save the time. Okay, again I don't want to explain each and every scenario. Okay, here you can pause this video and you can go through. Okay, so this is the fourth scenario. Okay, so now here if you see schedule a job with a fixed intervals, so these are my observations as per our experiments, whatever we have done. Okay, this is first observation. Okay, and this is the second observation. Okay, and so this is the final one. Okay, schedule a job with cron expression. Okay, here you can see hourly. Okay, so this is a sample cron job expression. So here you see 0 means seconds. Okay, 15 means minutes, 10 means hours. Okay, so that means what does it mean? Every day 10th hour in the sense morning 10 o'clock, 15th minute and 0th second. So that means this your scheduled job will be executed every day at 10:15 a.m. Okay, so that's the meaning of this one. Okay, so by this way, okay, you can have your own scheduled jobs. Okay, and you can run them as per your requirement. Okay, whatever your requirement, accordingly you can configure your scheduled jobs with a proper attribute, either with a fixed rate or fixed delay or cron. Okay, so okay, uh, yeah, so that's it. Okay, so with this I'm going to finish this particular video. Okay, if you really like my video, please like and share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.